Hello everybody, thank you for joining in. Micah Coate here. Just a heads up, just to let you know, we're not going to be discussing really anything of importance today. Just how IBM helped Hitler eradicate 6 million Jews and the rise of AI and the future of the human race. So one memory I have as a young boy was visiting my grandparents' house in the mid-'80s. Living close to us, I found myself at their house fairly often. And stationed next to their home phone was a cube-shaped block of white notepaper with 3 large blue letters printed across them. And that was IBM. At the time, IBM had purchased 1,300 acres in southeast Tucson. My grandfather and my father, both being union plumbers, were just a few of the many who helped erect the massive 1.3 million square foot complex to serve IBM's ever-growing technological advances. By then, IBM had already been around in various capacities for 100 years. Thomas Watson, the namesake for IBM's famous question-answering computer system, joined the company in 1914 as the general manager and became its president soon after. Although Watson didn't play a part in the First World War, he and his company would end up playing a massive role in the Second. It wasn't until I was an adult that I knew IBM stood for International Business Machines. The company's Herculean size, scope, and worldwide influence was remarkable to learn. But what I found more jarring and nearly unbelievable was how IBM openly and knowingly helped the Nazi regime carry out its genocide against the Jewish people. Edwin Black, author of IBM and the Holocaust, the strategic alliance between Nazi Germany and America's most powerful corporation, frankly summarizes it this way. Without IBM, there still would have been a Holocaust killing hundreds of thousands. Eisengruppen murder squads and their militia cohorts would still have murdered East European Jews bullet by bullet in pits, ravines, and isolated clearings in the woods. But it was IBM that helped the Third Reich create the industrial, high-speed, 6 million victims Holocaust, metering ghetto residents out to trains and then carefully scheduling the moving of those trains to concentration camps for mass murder and cremation within hours, clearing the way for the next shipment of victims day and night. In short, IBM's punch card was the computer of the 1930s. As Black lays out, the punch cards were revolutionary in surveilling and tracking all people through tabulation. In the Third Reich, IBM's high-speed machines could quickly receive the punched cards and spit out personal information. Thus, as Black points out, the information age, meaning the era of the individualization of statistics or the identifying and quantifying of a specific person within an anonymous count, was born, not in Silicon Valley, but in Berlin in 1933. As we noted in a previous article, COVID, the Code, and the Place for Christian Ethics, something I suggest you check out, eugenics was being practiced in Germany nearly 2 decades before the war broke out. Now, this is extremely important to know. IBM played a major role in that time as well, helping catalog any undesirables in the 1930s prior to military action taken in the 40s. Throughout the war, IBM's cutting-edge technology made the final solution viable in many ways, but nothing advanced the hurting, the transporting, and the death of Jews more than IBM's machines scheduling the railroads to train them from the ghettos to the concentration camps night and day. Consequently, from the beginning to the end, IBM's 12-year relationship in helping to fulfill Hitler's genocide is truly breathtaking. Besides being an important part of technological, medical, and world history that everyone should know about, you might be asking yourself, why is this information more pertinent now? The answer is this: because the world is standing on the precipice of a new technology that even the best minds concede collective ignorance to foresee the scope, the power, and the unintended consequences of artificial intelligence. The fear that nothing they propose to do will now be impossible for them, taken from the time of the Tower of Babel from Genesis chapter 11, is currently being experienced. Not just among Christians, but largely secular futurists and technocrats. Just not too long ago, in March of 2023, over 1,000 experts called for a 6-month moratorium on AI development. Now, I doubt that any real standstill will happen behind closed doors. The attempt to slow the process of developing AI reveals the hesitancy that many are feeling. To quote the great Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park, "Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should." Thankfully, the experts in the field are now considering if they should. But in reality, it's too late. It's not a matter of whether they should, but how should they manage it? If those developing and controlling AI falls into the hands of anyone like Thomas Watson, then a divine judgment of scattering and confusion from Genesis might be preferable to the alternative. Maybe that's why Elon Musk said artificial intelligence is a fundamental risk to human civilization. Edwin Black not only exposed how IBM was complicit in the worst atrocity in modern history, but sagely points out why. It is also worth asking why a company like IBM chose to participate in genocide. It was never about Nazism. It was never about anti-Semitism. It was about money. Business is, after all, the company's middle name. IBM has proven that some corporations can get away with murder. Christian, if you or enough people believe that men like Thomas Watson wouldn't be a part of some form of pauperization or genocide today through the power of AI to gain power, money, or influence, then don't be surprised when they do. It's a robust understanding of the depravity of man and world history that should lead us to have very little trust in man and a great trust in God. Even more so when we are all entering this strange new world of AI. The people of Genesis 11 verses 1 through 9 were trying as one world to exalt a name for themselves in defiance of God. It's our job and our honor to exalt Christ's name in obedience to Him. In times like these, may our obedience to Christ transform the human race far greater than IBM has in the past, or AI is expected to in the very near future. But I would love to hear what you think, so thank you for watching. Please comment and below. Also, if you didn't know, I have a podcast and a blog where you can find more on theology, history, and culture. You can find all that stuff at salvationandstuffblog.com. Hope you check it out, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.